Now, we will talk about the last part of section 31.2, which is active and passive immunity. So, what is active immunity? So, active immunity is immunity that occurs that it's when your body produces in immunity that your body produces in response to a specific pathogen that has infected or is infecting your body. So active immunity actually happens when our own immune system is responsible for protecting us from the pathogen. So our body is the one that has to solve that problem. So it's long lasting, so it's like permanent. It lasts a long time. The thing about it is that it takes a very long time for it to develop. So to be like to develop, it takes some time. Anyways, there are two types of active immunity, is which is natural and artificial. The natural one is infection, and the artificial one is vaccination. So, in natural infection, the antibodies are obtained by being exposed. Oh dear, by being exposed to infection. So, in this one, it's when antibodies are created because we have an infection, and in order to fight that infection, we need things to fight it off. So, those antibodies are produced in order to fight off the infection that we have in our skin. So, that's the one type. And next one is artificial, which is vaccination. So, these are antibodies that are obtained through vaccination. Through vaccination, it kind of like trains our body to respond to a certain type of disease. So it gives us a little taste beforehand. So next time that disease comes into our body will be able to recognize it and send more antibodies. So in both circumstances, the antibodies are created from our body in order to attack. So like factors like infection and vaccination causes our bodies to react to that, and since we get sick, our body then produces antibodies, and that's active immunity. Something has to happen to our body in order for us to react to it. And the thing about it is it has immunological memory. So the next time the same disease comes into our body can recognize it and just go and attack it as quickly as possible. Next, we have passive immunity. So, passive immunity is something that occurs without the body undergoing an immune response. So, it's transferred. What you call it? It's transferred genetically. The thing about passive immunity is that it's something that's developed by the antibodies that are created outside. So like it enters the body. The antibodies are created from some other factor, and they enter the bodies in order to help us. It's a temporary thing, but it's an immediate effect. So it affects our body almost immediately. And the thing is, it doesn't have any immunological memory. So an example of this is genetic immunity. So it's when diseases from certain species only affect that certain species. For example, let's say a disease that an animal has, it cannot come to humans because it affects a different species. We are genetically immune to that type of disease. Now, there are two types of passive immunity. There's natural, which is maternal, and artificial, which is medicinal. So, in maternal immunity, it's when the antibodies that we receive are given from the mother to us, to the baby. So, when a mother gives birth and has a baby, the antibodies, the things that fight the pathogens, the thing that the baby receives is actually from the mother. It's not from the baby itself. So an example of this is like the mother's milk. So when a baby drinks the mother's milk, it gains nutrients. And through those nutrients, the antibodies also go to the baby, and it helps it to gain immunity. So it gains antibodies from another organism, from another outside thing, and then it goes into our body. And the second one is artificial, which is medicinal. So it's when we take medicine. So antibodies obtained through the injection of monoclonal antibodies. So it's when like we take